This is a car I've been waiting a long time to drive. The new 2020 Toyota Supra.
When we're going through these twisty mountains, with a touch of a button, you can tighten it up, and there you go. No, pull over.
Oh well, now we're behind a Falcon. Equally, I think I'd rather shoot. And he's gotten over so that I can't get around him. You utter cockwomble.
Are you going to edit that out?
Cockwomble? No, he's going to leave that in. So now we're in an 80 zone and he's still doing 60. Oh, 70?
No, 67. You didn't like the positioning of the
traction control. Yes, and I'll tell you why. When I came into my garage earlier on, I'm just going to put that out of sport now, the beepers came on, and when the beepers come on, what also comes on is the proximity 360 degree camera, which is great, but the beeping drives me absolutely bananas. So in order to switch that off, I wanted to press the little button and off it goes. However, if you miss it, the button next to it is traction control, and that could lead to all sorts of fun and games. And in a tail-happy, reasonably powerful car that weighs about 1400 and some change.
1465.
I don't think I'd really want to be going up here without traction control on.
No. Well, you have to say that the Michelin Pilot Sport tyres are fantastic on this car.
Yeah, we're going to go back that way.
Sure.
We're going to take the tourist road. See if I don't want someone to bang up my bum.
Well, just have to sneak through.
Not mind you that it would be the first time. No, oh, grow up. You know very well what I meant. I was talking about that unfortunate incident recently. Grow up.
You're not helping yourself.
Grow up.
Back to more serious matters.
Yes.
You asked me a question earlier and I couldn't answer you.
About which?
You give me a prize if I found the sync button for the air conditioning.
And you quite pithily had already had it. You were all over it. You were all over it like a bad suit. So tell the viewers about BMW, because essentially, remember, this is a BMW Z4. So this is the roofed model. BMW Z4 is the unroofed model. Go ahead. With
the air conditioning system, you cannot sync the passenger and drivers. They're independently controlled.
Drives me bananas.
Do you wish it had a manual transmission? That's a question that a lot of people have asked.
I am in two minds. The city driving is so much easier with an automatic or a DCT.
This car has actually a really good exhaust note with the windows down. When you're on the downshift, it has a little crackle and pop.
Which we can't show you because if we put the windows down, you won't hear it. Because the buffeting is... Actually, do you want to try the buffeting? You might be able to hear the buffeting. Hold on, let's go down.
Yeah.
The windows down.
Automatic windows.
Automatic windows up and down, front side. So I don't know if you can hear that or not.
It's very loud.
But there's very loud buffeting.
Very loud.
And I hope that comes out on the film. I can't stand it.
Oh wow. I'm actually really surprised at how loud that buffeting is.
Begs the question, you have to ask whether it's going to do it in a Z4.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, what I'm going to do is pull up here and we're going to swap drivers.
Okay. Last question. Value for money?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's excellent value for money. Alrighty. What was that game where you used to stop and everybody would go and sit in a different seat?
Road trips?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, snap! Ask questions while you go?
Probably not.
No.
Yep.
No, you'll want to put it in gear.
See.
Button.
Button. Huh.
You haven't driven a BMW lately, have you?
No, I did actually. I drove a 240i about a month ago.
So did you get it out of the driveway or just asking? So was it a manual?
Yes, it was the manual with the rev matching.
I love a BMW 6-cylinder. And what's a unique now, more or less, feature about this engine, do I hear you ask? It's a straight V6.
It is. Yes, actually, that's very true.
Very few V6s, very few straight sixes left. Most of them are V6s.
Very
and
few sixes left.
Very true. Now they're going to small 4 cylinders, and that I think would have ruined this car completely. So, what is your take so far on steering, suspension? What do you think? Over to you.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, and bear in mind, I've never driven this car before.
And we've gone now all of 3 kilometers. So
all of 3 kilometers.
You must be an expert.
And all right, it's just very easy.
I was kind of hoping for more detail.
Well, I've just started driving it. It is very, very easy to drive. It's so direct. Well, you definitely get a lot of feeling through your bum.
Yes, you do.
You get what the road feels like, but it's not crashy. It's not hard. The suspension is fantastic.
You're saying I get a lot of feeling through my bum because it's you.
Yeah. Well, you were complaining about the bolster sizing earlier.
Well, I only just made a comment on my last video about the downward pressure on my ball. But I was talking about towing at the time, but I realised when I played it back that it did sound a bit, how's your father? You've got great visibility going forward though. With the cameras it's a little bit difficult, but of course with airbags, A-pillars have become rather sturdy, like an old woman with cankles.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. That was sort of my gripe when I recently drove a car from the 80s, a sports car from the 80s, and it was just amazing, the visibility with such a skinny A-pillar.
But of course, the first hint of an accident and you're going to die.
I have to say though, I find myself keep looking in the rear, in the side mirrors, just to see those lovely haunches that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, they are sexy. You don't get to see those unless you're in a particular line or unless you're inside.
This is a car that you can drive for 10 hours and not feel fatigued.
You were pointing out there's no Jesus grip.
Yes.
So there's nothing to hold on to here above the door when your erstwhile friend gets spirited in the corners.
Well, but if you notice, Alan, where using your legs to brace,
yeah,
they're all padded, even the center console.
Yep. Well, I think they're padded for a good reason. Again, I like the way everything is laid out, so there's nothing that's where it shouldn't be. And finally, before we go, the audio system, we couldn't find Apple CarPlay in this, so we're assuming that if it does have CarPlay, it's wireless because it's a BMW sound system, but we think it didn't come with that, which is a bit painful. Sound?
Loved it. So I was.
You did adjust it because you thought it was a bit ropey. What's your verdict?
Oh, I love it. I think that first of all, for Toyota to put a car out in this current climate is an achievement in itself, but to put something that is true to the original Supra name.
It is every ounce Supra.
It is every ounce of Supra. It has all the Japanese touches with the German refinement.
I have no problem with it being a joint development with BMW, the same as I had no problem with BRZ and 86 being a joint development between Toyota and Subaru. That's absolutely tickety-boo as far as I'm concerned.
If we need more collaboration so that we can get cars like this, then
absolutely.
I am all for it.
It's as sweet as a nut. Right, I think that's it from me. It's good night from me.
And good night from me.
Oh no, you're supposed to say it's good night from him.
Good night from him.
Yeah, that was the two Ronnies. That's
Look,
what they said.
We're still working on this.